Your favorite tough topics that make you think.
I think it's important and critical to take care of our survivors.
Positivity to make you smile.
Good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year to you all. Thank you for joining us here on Chai Time. I'm so excited. It's 2025, and there's a lot of things ahead for us. Good things, good vibes, and, I'm so happy that this is a great way to start this year with not other than Ms. Valakani from Daya, our outreach coordinator. And our conversation is going to be really, really
fun. I think it's fun. 2025 is the year of fun, I think.
Yeah. So how have you been? Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year. I've been pretty good. I've been really relaxed. I was in Colorado for the holidays, so I got to experience magic, wonderland, mountain, nature, all that, and then coming back to concrete jungle, such as, and then I brought the weather with me too. I brought the 30-degree weather. I'm so sorry, everybody.
No, we love the cold. It's nice for a change.
Yeah.
I mean, Christmas was kind of warm.
It was.
New Year was okay. But as long as the sun is out, it's not raining, it's not gloomy, we are fine. The sunshine is all that we need. We need all of that vitamin D.
Yes,
we
do.
And you got a lot of that in Colorado.
I did. Colorado Springs is apparently like the city where the sun shines 364 days a year. So I'm never without sunshine. It's so beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful.
So how is 2024 for you? We're going to do some kind of a, reflecting back on 2024 before we move forward to 2025.
Yeah, 2024 was definitely a wild ride, is how I would say it, a roller coaster. We experienced, I moved back to Houston and started this position, and within the first 2 or 3 weeks, it was Hurricane Beryl. And my apartment flooded, everything was upside down everywhere, every which way. Yeah. And then slowly but surely things got better, but then also it was never a day without something happening or just the unexpected catching you off guard. And I think that was something that I really had to learn, especially in this role or just in life in general, which is that you can't plan everything. And if you start to plan something, it's never going to go the way that you expect it to.
Yeah.
So those are my main lessons that I learned in 2024.
Yeah. And with Daya, what are the highlights? That kind of stand out for you?
Honestly, it's kind of very similar with that because we had so many changes. We had new leadership come in, which we've been very excited for, and we've been and our executive director, which you had on your show earlier in 2024, she came on in September, and then we both had to go to a conference, and then we had our gala, which was a very successful gala, and it was beautiful to have those experiences with her and with the new team, and we're starting to grow and we're starting to build and just also maintain what Daya really is, which is very community centered, community fostered. And so we were interacting with so many different people who have touched Daya to kind of learn how Daya has grown over the years and where we want to go forward. So it's been a lot of reflecting. It's been a lot of unexpected changes. It's been a lot of looking towards how taking stock of what has happened in 2024 and before 2024 and kind of where do we want to go from there. It's been a lot of asking questions.
Yeah. And so you've been involved in the community too. You've been meeting community leaders. So
for sure. We've gotten to know a lot of the community members. We've gotten to know some local businesses. We've gotten to know, especially we've been really interested in getting to know schools and university faculty and staff because we really want to make sure that that is a resource for all ages above 18. And so we really wanted to just be present in populations where we haven't seen the populations arrive at our place, but we know that the need is there. So college age students specifically, and especially with my Gen Z voice that you can really hear through the mic, one thing that's very important for me is that people know that it's a place where everybody can feel safe, and it's not going to be people who are way older who are going to be like dictating your life or going to force you to make decisions that you don't want to make. All of those misconceptions that often come with just getting help in general, and then also all of those fears that we sometimes have in the South Asian community already, kind of getting re-traumatized. That's not a place that's not what we stand by, that's not what we do. So that's been something important for us that we want to make sure that people know about. But yeah, no, a lot of just community members, a lot of nonprofits, a lot of sister organizations. We've been on so many panels with so many beautiful people who have been doing the work as long as us, longer than us, for a smaller amount than us. And they all are aligned in the mission of ending gender-based violence.
Yeah. And I know a lot of our listeners know a lot about Daya, but we also now have new listeners, new audiences.
Yeah.
So just give us a brief overview of Daya.
Yeah, sure. Daya is a nonprofit that serves South Asian survivors of abuse. And what we do, all our services are free. We essentially help our survivors in whatever way that they want help, and we don't push. All our services are free. You can just call our hotline, and which was on our ad, on the ad right before, and then I'll pull up the number because I'm horrible with memorizing numbers. But yeah, we help through literally everything: financial, immigration, housing, job skills, resume building, literally whatever somebody may need in order to rebuild their life or start anew, or however you want to see that situation. We try to help, and we do a lot of safety planning. That is something that we really emphasize, is that how can we make sure you're safe at every step of the way, and what makes you feel safe every step of the way. That is something that we like to prioritize, and we want to emphasize every single time. But yeah, we serve South Asian survivors of abuse. And that's it.
Because language is a big barrier, right, amongst the community.
Yeah.
So I'm sure like it's like a safe space for them to come if need be. Like this Daya is an organization that they can come to and feel safe by, not worrying about will people understand what I'm trying to say or my language difference and things like that.
Yeah,
so
and yes.
helpful, right?
So one thing with being a South Asian organization that serves South Asians specifically is that we have cultural competency. So that means we speak 14 languages in-house, and then also we understand the dynamics of South Asia and what does it mean to be an immigrant? What does it mean to have like a language barrier? What does it mean to have a financial barrier? What does it mean to have literally any kind of barrier that I have experienced even as being an immigrant, and how would that translate to somebody who is in a situation such as that? Yeah.
So do you think, Misbah, that during the holiday season, is it, are the cases less, or would there be more, in your opinion?
I think generally what happens, like during the pandemic, for example, cases skyrocketed, right? It was because people were in close proximity to another and had nowhere to go, and they were all in one place. And so kind of similarly during the holidays, depending on, like, I can't make a case for whether it's more or less, but if there was a situation where people are in a close, tight community, very close space, in a tight space and couldn't leave, I think there are more potentials, and especially like during the stress of the holidays. But also, I think abuse happens, so it's so normalized in so many communities, and also happens all the time, and is something that doesn't have a time nor a place, that I don't know. I don't know whether it would increase or decrease, but I do know the stress could be a factor, and the fact that you're in such a close space and just high stress, and all those two factors would really play into whether or not cases would increase
Because
or
I'm
not.
just thinking, like, during the holiday season, I guess we are all so, so busy doing things
Yeah.
and so excited for
Yeah.
Christmas and New Year and
Yeah.
all of that, other things the negativity don't come into play, right?
Yeah.
But once when we hit January,
Yeah.
the bills come in.
Yeah.
The weather is like today is sunny and beautiful,
Yeah.
but most of the time it's called the winter blues. So that hits us.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of a lot of that negative vibe starts pouring
Yeah.
in, and then we are all so blah.
Yeah, but I think
So
but I think a lot of the so when I had family members that I wasn't keen on seeing, right? One thing that I hated the holidays were a time that I dreaded or that I really wanted to escape from because I didn't want to interact with certain people. I didn't want to be around certain people. And it's that feeling that I'm kind of speaking to where it's like, oh, you're going to be around those people that you know are going to make some comments, you know are going to do something. They're just going to be off color of a certain way.
yeah.
So that's the thing that really puts a notch on the holidays. And
Yeah.
so the holidays have never been the same for me as for other people, especially in the U.S., because like I'm Muslim and I was born in Pakistan, I was raised in Pakistan, and so I never thought of Christmas as like this big thing and of this like big idyllic time for me. It was just another holiday that I got off. It wasn't even a holiday, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because sometimes I even see, where couples during during the holiday season, they put their differences aside and they'll be like, okay, it's the holiday season.
Yeah,
let's just put that aside, our differences, and let's just have a good time.
Yeah, exactly.
And then again, once that's over,
Yeah.
like the mental abuse, the emotional abuse, all of that starts all over again.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's what I'm thinking, like, is the cases again go up or, like do people, because it's just like now they're back to their normal life.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, this is who I am. I
Yeah.
don't have to put a facade on
Yeah.
anymore because the holidays are over.
Yeah, that's why your question was so hard, because you could literally see both sides of
Yeah.
whether cases would go down or up. Both, yeah.
Exactly, because sometimes I see couples, like, they are very happy. Like, I mean, they are struggling.
Yeah.
Like, and then during the holiday time, they all lovey-dovey and they're all, like, together and all. And then all of a sudden, it's totally opposite down the road, right? Like, in the new year, it's, like, what happened?
Yeah.
Things just change so abruptly.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking, I guess sometimes the way our mind is, we just set up, our mindset is like, oh, it's the holiday, let's put our differences aside and things like that.
Yeah, and you're kind of also speaking to what we talk a lot about with the cycle of abuse, where there is a honeymoon phase, right? And so sometimes that honeymoon phase might actually be brought on by the holidays, and then and then where everything is lovely, that's the ideal partner, that is the ideal family dynamic, and then we're all going to be amazing. But then soon as New Year's Day hits, oh, it's that honeymoon phase is over. So, yeah.
Yeah. So those are signs too, which I guess we, like, people have to look out for and not think like, okay, it's over, the abuse has ended.
Exactly.
Because, he or she has changed.
Exactly.
But that's usually not the case.
Exactly.
It's long.
Yeah.
It's long and hard.
It's a cycle.
It's a cycle, yes. So, I actually wanted to ask you, with the holiday season come to an end, what are some ways to recharge and prepare for this year? Give us some tips.
Again, I'm no expert. I will always rely on my experience a lot, just because it's the best way to go, is to talk from the heart. But one thing that I really emphasize is taking time for yourself and like trying to find things, like if you have New Year's resolutions that you set. I'm actually notoriously horrible at never being able to meet my New Year's resolution goals, so I never make them. But I have some goals, just some goals that I have, or some things that I will try during the new year. And during January, I make sure specifically to set myself up for success, right? And so that is by literally investing in myself as much as I can and try to find any moment that I can to invest in those goals, to do anything for myself. And that's one way to recharge, is literally to spend time with yourself and just be like, have no witnesses, have no nothing, nobody can see you, just you and whatever you want to do. And that is one way that I would always emphasize recharging. And then the other way actually is the exact opposite, where you spend time with loved ones, that doing things that are not holiday related, that are fun, that are literally just what you want to envision for the rest of the year to look like for you. So who do you want to see the rest of the year? What would you want to do the rest of the year? Kind of spend time with those people, trying to do little activities. Again, I'm Gen Z. I love, like, we're all into like junk journaling right now, which is essentially like scrapbooking.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to like have a junk journaling night or a scrapbooking night, or a night where you just hang out and it's very low pressure, take the pressure off of yourself. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to do anything, and do something for yourself with people that you love, that really fulfill you, that really invigorate you creatively. That's something where it's like, if you engage your creative side, a lot of the times that really brings you out and makes you use different muscles and makes you use different parts of your brain that typically you don't at work, or don't while you're driving from one place to another. So that's a great way to recharge. And then also, I know people use and abuse this word, but self-care. You do need to do self-care, whatever that looks like. It can look like a bath. It can look like journaling prompts. Like, we posted some journaling prompts on our Instagram, just so people really have a time to reflect and really be centered with themselves and really take care of what they need to. But it could be a bath. It could be taking yourself on a date. It could be literally whatever you see as self-care. But self-care really is important to recharge, because there's like, you know, the saying, like, you can't take charity starts at home, or you can't fill from an empty cup. All of those things are really true for that reason, is because you really need to emphasize self-care to recharge.
Yeah, and you know, we are always so excited when the new year comes.
Yeah.
We set those goals,
Yeah.
and things like that. But for us to really meet those goals for the whole year, it can be very challenging.
Yeah.
A lot of things come in the way in
Exactly.
life, right?
Yeah, but one thing is that some people, again, very Gen Z of me, but practice like dry January, where they, after the holidays, do y'all know what dry January is?
Yeah, we
Okay.
heard about that last
Okay. So it's like, it's still not too late to start, but dry January is like you basically going sober for a whole month, and you can try something for a month, and that's one thing where it's like taking the pressure off yourself to reach your goals, or
That's
to reach
not
your...
fair.
You
It's my
could do it
birthday in January.
Okay, maybe but Valentine's Day, no. I think, okay, the next one I would say is March. You can try dry March.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
That'll be easier.
Because also, March is Persian New Year, and it's also Nowruz, and I know a few communities in the South Asian population diaspora celebrate it, so that could be your New Year's is March. But yeah, no, like dry January could be something that people do and just do for the month of January, right?
It's Chinese New Year.
It is, yeah. Okay, but your birthday comes, yeah, exactly.
I don't know what the listeners must be thinking.
No.
So is she drinking the whole day or the whole month? No, I'm not.
That's so funny. But yeah, so it's like my whole thing is that it is so hard to try to do something the whole year. The thing is, if you do it well for at least 1 month, you have that. Like, that's my thing, is that I'm notoriously bad at keeping New Year's resolutions. Every single time I say I'm going to journal every single day, I'm going to start 3 different hobbies, and none of them ever happen. So this year, what I'm trying to do is that every month try something out, or every 3 months give myself 3 months to try a new hobby and see if I stick with it. And then if I stick with it, I can try it for longer than 3 months. But if I don't, I'm committed to it just for 3 months.
That's such a great tip.
Yeah.
Like make it short. And
Yeah.
that's what we say, right? Like small steps, big
Mm-hmm.
changes. And that is how we should really follow.
Exactly.
So, like you were just talking about, so last year we had a lot of great guests,
Mm-hmm.
and one of them, she's a yoga teacher,
Mm-hmm.
and also specializes in meditation. And I've never been very good at meditating. I always struggle with that, right? Because I feel. I think because I'm so focused on trying to be in the right position, trying to clear my mind and all that, that it just doesn't happen. And I've tried several ways, several times. And when we had this talk with her, I was so motivated. I'm like, oh, I'm going to try again. And I failed, right? And then recently, a few weeks ago, just during the holiday season, I came across this thing on the website, and I saw these cards where every day you pick a card and you read it, and then there's a QR code and you kind of scan it, and then you start your meditation. But the good thing about that was you can meditate for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So it was 5 minutes increments. So I was like, hey, it's only 5 minutes, 5 minutes is nothing, right? So I started doing that, and now I am at 20 minutes.
Wow. That's
And it is so liberating. It is so good, because I know a lot of people meditate in the morning, but in my mornings are kind of very hectic, because I'm also very into my healthy breakfast, and I make sure I'm making good meals for myself and stuff like that. So, and I go to the gym and all. So I was like, morning would definitely not be possible. And I thought to myself, why does it have to be morning?
right.
It can be any time of the day if you want to meditate, right? So I started doing it at night. And I started with 5 minutes for a few days. I increased it to 10 minutes. Then I was like, hey, maybe why not try 15 minutes? And now when I'm at 20, I'm so proud of myself, because I took the initiative and I tried, although I failed so many times, last year. And I started the new year with just saying, I am going to meditate. And just my breathing itself has improved.
Yeah.
Like I'm able to take deeper breaths, and I'm able to exhale so much better. Like just the breathing technique has improved for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so lovely. That warmed my heart when I heard that.
I was like, meditation cannot be hard. I keep telling myself it is hard, but now that I am I have started and I'm progressing and all, I'm just like, no, it is helping. And it's the breathing technique that really changes a lot, like your mindset, because I'm doing this course and stuff, and it tells us to get good sleep, you have to power down an hour, for, before you go to sleep for an hour.
Yeah.
And I've been struggling with that, like sleep, only when I'm totally exhausted, I can go off to sleep. But that's not the right way, right? So I was like, what do I do? Because it says you can read, but it's on a device. So again, you're on a device.
Yeah.
Then it says, you can journal. But if I do journaling, then my mind is so
going. Yeah.
Because everything is like I'm trying to write.
Yeah.
I'm so worked up.
Yeah.
How do I how do I relax, right? So I was just trying to figure out a way of how to power down. And I think I found it.
Yeah.
By meditation. Because honestly speaking, after I meditate, I don't go on my device. I just go to bed.
Wow. Okay, you've literally given me the warm and fuzzies. That literally touched my heart.
I just wanted to share that.
Yeah.
And for people who are listening, there are ways. I mean, for me, meditation has helped, and I have I never thought I would be in this space of meditation or anything as such. But I think just taking those little steps with 5 minutes, and I was like, okay, if I do 5 minutes, and if I go to 10 minutes don't work, I'll go back to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
What's there to stop me?
Yeah.
Why should I feel like I'm not a failure? I'm just like, okay, it didn't work out, I'm going back to 5 till I am strong enough to go ahead.
I honestly, Okay, why specifically I'm like so touched by it is because I feel like what you're describing kind of goes against so many narratives that we've been taught, where it's like you have to do things a particular way. So you said no, there's no real way to do anything. I'm going to adapt it to how I want to do it. And if everybody says that it's the morning time, no, I want to do it before I go to sleep.
Yeah.
And it's helping me go to bed. And that's one thing where I'm like, wow, this is beautiful, where it's like you're adapting what you want and how to improve your life. Yeah. 2, you really took the pressure off of yourself, being like, this is just for 5 minutes. This is, and if I can't, what you just said, where it's like, if I can't do 10 minutes, I'll go back to 5. Who's stopping me?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Like, I feel like I've struggled with all of those things where it's like everything has to be a certain way, everything has to be perfect, and if I can't do it in a certain amount of time and I can't do it like an hour-long meditation right off the bat, then I'm a failure, or like all of these narratives that I specifically have in my head. But you literally were just like, okay, maybe I'll go meditate now. Maybe I'll go meditate now, and I'll be nicer and kinder to myself, because that's all it is. Where it's like you are kind to yourself, and you like do things for yourself that help you grow, or that help you maintain your life, or that like fulfill you. That's literally all. That's literally all I could hope for, and that's all that I want from literally everybody in the world. Yeah.
I mean, we humans makes things so complicated.
We do.
Like, life can be really simple.
Yeah.
But we just complicate things so much that we get entangled in this web.
Yeah.
And then we just don't know how to get out of it.
Yeah.
Right? And if you just simplify your life, it's so much easier. Yeah. I mean, that's my 2025
That's
Zen
so
life.
beautiful. That's beautiful. It's so beautiful. Yeah.
Just, kind of stay happy, be happy, and, and just surround yourself with positive and like-minded and happy people. I think that's just, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
It really does. I feel like sometimes we try so hard to either change people, or we try so hard to, we try and enforce our thinking, our behavior, and everything on others, right? And I'm just like, no. I mean, it's just going to be me, myself, and I. Like, I mean, I'm not sounding selfish, I hope, but it's more like taking better care of myself, and then letting see how things go from there.
Yeah, and whatever like energy you do have when you are taking care of yourself will attract people who are taking care of themselves as well, like you kind of have a lot.
I thought she's waving, but she's telling us, cut off!
I was like, we just keep on talking and talking.
We put Olivia in a Zen mode today. I hope our listeners are in a Zen mode.
I know. My voice isn't that calming.
Both of you have been Only 2 minutes up on break.
Okay, we should go on a short break, and when we return, we'll continue this great conversation with Ms. Balakani from Daya, Houston. This is Chai Time, 103.5 Hum FM. Welcome back to Chai Time on 103.5 Hum FM. I am in conversation with Ms. Balakani from Daya, Houston, and it's been such a great conversation. We are literally talking personal experiences, talking about 2024, diving into 2025, and it's been a lot of laughs, but still meaningful conversation, definitely. So tell me, Ms. Ba, what exciting things are in store for the new year for Daya?
Yeah. Again, we're really excited for all of the changes that we've had in 2024. So we're now like full steam ahead. 2025. So our gala annually happening in September sometime. Date still yet to come, but we're so excited. I don't want to spoil a single thing, but oh my goodness, being part of that planning process, it's gonna be so fun. It's gonna be so exciting. It's gonna be bigger than than a lot of the galas that we've had, and it's gonna be I don't want to spoil a single thing, but get ready. I think be prepared for the fall. So that's one thing that I will say. Before that, though, we are going to be more in the community, and one thing that we really want to do is like host more movie nights and in the community. And I love movie nights. The last one that we did was in November, and that was really successful. And it was like we got Raja Sweets in there. We got you missed out, so you can't the next time. And we watched a South Asian directed movie, like a movie directed by a South Asian director, and it was so beautiful, such a nice space. And so we want to do more of those. We want to host another event that we have done in the past, Brown Bodies Bold Stories, where it's like survivors come and share their stories, and we're in the planning process of that right now. So next month maybe you'll have more info there.
And everything will be on your social media.
Oh, of
anyway.
course. Oh, of course.
I'm talking to the experts here.
Social media, website. Our website is getting a big revamp this year, so our website will have a lot of that info as well. So diahouston.org, and we're Dia Houston on most of our social media. We just started our Twitter account back up, or X, now formerly known as. We're Dia Houston there, and we're trying to grow that platform, but we're trying to be everywhere. Like, that is the goal for 2025, is be literally everywhere, be so accessible, be in the schools. Like, we're trying to partner and are going to host a holy event at Rice University this year. Oh my goodness, I don't know what else. There's so many talks, and and there's like tinier events that we do in communities. At organizations, like we have a couple of trainings already planned with sister organizations and just in the Houston area in general, and doing trainings with the Y, oh my goodness, like these are just like, the more you tell me, I'm just like, okay, this is it's all coming back to me. And so there's a lot in store, and all of it, we want to emphasize that it's gonna be fun. We want to make everything as joyful as possible and as meaningful as possible. We want to make sure that it's opposite from how abuse feels from all of our events. We want to kind of create like the sense of that there's hope, that there's something else, that there's another direction, there's another way to be. And how do you do that without having some fun? So that's one thing. And then on the other end, we're trying to teach people about what abuse looks like, and we're trying to teach people to recognize what abuse can show up as. And so it's a very diverging conversation where it's like, on the one hand, we are dealing with the heavy stuff all the time, and we want people to be aware that they don't have to deal with this all the time, while simultaneously we want to amplify survivor voices. We want to make sure that survivors are heard, survivors are seen, that we're not made to feel as that we're not important, or that we don't have a voice, when a lot of the time survivors have had their voices taken away from them, where survivors are not heard. We want to not do that. We want to do the opposite of that. So yeah, it's going to be a fun conversation, fun 2025. It's going to be fun conversations. It's going to be very hard conversations, but that's kind of what we do here at that.
Yeah, raising all the awareness as much as you can, for sure, because there is still so much of domestic violence and abuse going on in the city itself.
Exactly.
So, and just keep talking about it, having those conversations, and being aware of your surroundings, or if you see a friend and she or he does not realize that this is abuse, then at least you know the signs. Exactly. You see the signs, and you can kind of help by giving the helpline. Exactly. And stuff like that, because that is so important. And I think it's about time we all get out of our comfort zone and be there for each other, not only in good times, but also for during bad times. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. My God, you're like literally touching my heart every single time today. Like you're, like everything you're saying, I'm just like, yes, exactly, exactly. Why am I even here? Wow.
I learned that all
beautiful.
from you
Yeah.
guys, like you, Swati, y'all have, even Tisha, who used to be here before. I've learned so much, and every time I get y'all here, it's always a learning lesson for me in so many ways. We started off just, focusing on domestic violence and talking about the heavy stuff. But down the road, there's so much more to just
Yeah.
that. And you guys have highlighted a lot of those things and made us realize, like, hey, there's also dating violence, there's, financial abuse, things like that, so which we didn't even know.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm learning from the best, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now people are starting to ask about like transnational abandonment and like what does that even mean? And I'm like, yeah, guys, people do do you know what transnational abandonment is? Do you want me to give you a pop
us
quiz? Do you want no pop quiz there?
I'm not ready for that yet.
Okay, but and just jokes. But transnational abandonment is a very complicated situation, but oftentimes an example of how it shows up is that there are a couple, for example, that comes from their home country to the U.S., for example, and lands in Houston, and then one of the people, the abuser, either leaves the person that they're abusing in the U.S. and then goes back to their home country.
Oh, we've talked about that. Yeah, I just didn't know the term.
Yeah, so it's called transnational abandonment. Or vice versa, where it's like they have immigrated together. They are going back to their home country from the U.S. for a vacation, to go see their parents, to go whatever it may be. And then only one person then returns back to the U.S., and that's typically the abuser. And a person that's being abused can be left in the home country. So there's different versions, or it could be a third country that they're getting left at. There's a lot of situations where it shows up at.
Yeah.
And every case is particularly unique, and it's very hard to catch because it's so international. And so that's something where it's like transnational abandonment is something that people really want to talk about more often and really want to bring to light in 2025. And I've been seeing it in 2024 a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah. So it's like there's terms that even I'm becoming familiar to, and we're seeing trends of, and so now we have to talk about it more too.
Yeah, and this is not something new. It's just been going on for a long time.
A long time.
It's just not been talked about
Correct.
or been aware of.
Correct.
So this is a good way now to start talking about it and raising awareness on on things like that and terms like that too. So yeah, I know, because we have touched on that, and I know the very first survivor. Our very first talk show was a survivor from Daya, and she had shared her story, and I think it was related to that.
Yeah.
So it's quite a
Yeah.
So any messages or anything for 2025 for our listeners here today?
I would say 2025 is the year of just growing, of change, of embracing change, of taking care of yourself, of taking care of others, and hoping for a better tomorrow. I think those are all the things that I want 2025 to be. And I hope Daya wants to be too. I think I speak for them today. So I think that's what Daya wants to be. I think that's what everybody is aligned on this, where it's taking care of you, taking care of the people around you, and embracing the wacky world that we live in right now.
Yeah, we should start manifesting on that together.
Yes.
Together we are stronger.
Yes, we
right?
are.
We can make that difference for sure. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming. It's so nice to have you here always.
If you can't see me, I'm smiling so wide because I love being here. I love Chai Time. Thank you so much for having me.
We love you guys too. Thank you. Thank you, listeners, for tuning into Chai Time. We shall see you same time, same place next week. Signing off. Chai Time, 103.5 Hum FM.